Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel. So, good morning. Today is Sunday, February 21st. Hope everybody had a good week. And so, I had originally a different idea of what I was going to talk about today, but I think I want to kind of continue on from the last week's interview. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that interview. The spiritual women interview. I definitely did. She dropped a lot of good gems. So I really appreciate that that she took the time out to do the interview. And you guys go follow her at sistershmoney_ on Instagram. But yeah, I feel like we had a good conversation. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So that was about spiritual women, and I want to talk about spiritual men. And so I found this post, and I will post it on the page too, like I always do, whatever I read. But it was titled "He's Woke." So it says, divine masculine men are in tune, aware, and awake. You'll know when you meet him because he will be aware of you too. He will see in you the inner goddess that you see in yourself. They are passionate and emotionally balanced. They are focused, and focused men are powerful men. They seek intimate connections just as deep as women, but only with the right one. Divine feminines, if you found him, value him, and he will value you too. I definitely like what this is talking about, and I agree with it. Divine masculine men, definitely, it's a different type of man. And definitely I think that, I'll talk from my own experience, like the more and more I become in tune with the spiritual woman that I am, and like this thing says, like finding the inner goddess in you, like it's just, it doesn't work unless the other person is doing the same work. You know, it's just like when you start healing yourself, you have to be with people who are healing themselves too, because you need the passion and the emotional balance, especially the emotional balance. You can't be the only person putting in emotions or dealing with your emotions in a relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or you just getting to know this person or anything, you know. And the fact like that it says they are focused, and focused men are powerful men. Yes, nothing like a focused man. And it's powerful, and it's attractive, and it should make you want to be focused too, you know? Like somebody by your side who's pushing you to do your best because they're trying to do their best, and you just like feed off of each other's energy. It's a great thing. It says they seek intimate connections just as deep as women, but only with the right one. That too, I think that takes maturity, and it takes tapping into the inner man, the man who you want to be, who you're destined to be, and not letting society, friends, or whoever else or whatever influences around you deter you from the man that you're supposed to be. And that definitely, I'm not a man, but I think that takes maturity. And I say that because of the people that I've dated and interacted with as men, even friends too. Like, it's just a maturity thing. Well, not just, but a part of it is maturity, right? Because maturity is like, okay, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I really like doing, you know what I mean? Like, they still really like doing something bad, or not even bad, but just that's something that doesn't help with their future or what they're trying to do. You know, like, if you're saying that you're trying to get on the right path, but you're still doing things that are deterring you from that, then you're not It's not matching up. Your actions are not matching with your words. And that takes maturity, because it takes discipline also, right? If you're so used to living a certain type of life that maybe when you were younger, in your 20s or something, that was like fun and just you really didn't have any worries and stuff. And now as you get older, it's like, dang, like, all right, maybe I need to, wake up, and I need to get my life together. And start tapping into who the man I want to be. So that takes time. And also, I mean, unfortunately, men mature later than women anyway, too. So it's definitely a gamble when it comes to like dating and stuff. So I'm reading this book, and I will post it too. I just started it, so I can't give too much insight, but it's called The Spirit of a Man, A Vision of Transformation for Black Men and the Women Who Love Them, by Iyanla Vanzant. And I like it so far, because she's definitely, I feel like she's gonna, Iyanla, she goes in, but I think that she's gonna tap into, from what I've read, I like that she's saying how, emotionally, Black men, just from a young age, they aren't conditioned to be emotional, and whether that be in society or even in the home too, and how that impacts them growing up and then as adults. Like if you're constantly being told like don't cry and don't show emotion, then you don't have time for that, and then it's just like you do that all the way until like your 20s, and then you start dating and potentially, I don't know, falling in love, and then it's just like I don't even understand what this feels like. Like they're not used to the feeling, and they're not used to expressing their emotions. Terrible. It's terrible. Like, and unfortunately, it's like the women who they are dealing with and loving are gonna potentially suffer, because we as women, we are open, we're loving and nurturing, so we want to just love, and we usually don't have a problem telling that person and acting on it. And it's just if you want to love someone who can't even recognize that what love is, or stuff like that, and like tap into themselves emotionally, then that just becomes irritating and draining, because it stifles you and your growth too, and what you're trying to do, and it's going to stifle the relationship itself, because what is the point? Like maybe in your 20s, I get it. Like that's a different type of love. But when you're older, like over 25, I feel like that's when your relationships should start to be a little bit more mature. Especially in your late 20s and 30s, like you should really be on a purpose, and you should be interacting with people and doing things that are conducive to your purpose. So, and that's kind of like what I'm saying about being woke. Like when you are focused, a focused man, it's a powerful man, because that man, he has a vision for himself. It's not even about, a woman or anything like that. It's just about himself. And he will only allow and add on things and people to his life and vision that are conducive to what he's trying to do. So it's like, all right, you know what? I want to be a business owner by the time I'm 35. I have to get this degree or whatever the steps that he feels that he needs to do. That man should be focused on that to the point where he's not going to entertain women, or let me not say he's going to entertain women. He can entertain a woman, but he's going to be focused on the right woman to help him get to where he needs to be. And when I say help him, it doesn't mean she's literally giving him money or anything like that. It's just you have to be very careful of the people that are around you, because that can literally, people can block your blessings. People can, mess up your path for your life just because they're not supposed to be there, or they're not on your level or anything like that. So when a man is focused and he's powerful, he knows, he's able to recognize the God within himself. So he's gonna only pursue a goddess, a woman who's pretty much doing the same thing. It's like a mirror reflection, right? Like, I'm focused, I'm spiritually in tune with myself, I'm aware and I'm awake of and alert to what's going on in society and within myself, and what that means for me and what I need to be doing in my life. So I would only want to pursue a woman who's doing the same thing, because we can connect and we can support each other in the same way that needs to be, like, you need that support, that emotional support, that spiritual support, rather than someone who's going to distract you and potentially get you off track. So yeah, I think that I don't know. I think that it's kind of tough, because it's hard to, right now, I feel like, not saying that they don't exist, because they definitely do. These men do exist. It just takes more, I guess, for a woman's perspective, to just you have to just keep working on you, and it's sometimes it's hard. Like, I know there are other women who, like, are in my age group and who are feeling the same way. Like, come on, like, like, you're doing all this work on yourself, and you're, going to school, or you're getting your degree, and you're, like, working your job, buying your house, and doing all these accomplishments, and sometimes you just, you want that person by your side, and it's just like, it's always something. It's always some type of issue with these guys today. And nobody's perfect. No one's expecting anyone to be perfect. But again, it's the maturity. It's, the emotional maturity that seems to be the disconnect with these men who are not woke, because they are seeking, weirdly enough, male validation, or they're seeking, or they're lost. Like, that's another thing. Like, a lot of these, and women too, like, a lot of these people today, our age and stuff, they're lost. That's why they just go with the crowd, and they just go with whatever social media says. And it's just like, you have to know who you are and stay true to you, like, if you have a vision for yourself. And again, and we all go through it, right? Like, sometimes, I'm sure, like, when I was in my 20s and stuff, there was times when I was lost and I didn't know what I was doing, or I didn't know what was my path necessarily. So I was hanging with the wrong crowd, or doing things that wasn't conducive to my future. But at the same time, you have to get tired of that, and you gotta, like, hit a point where you're just like, yo, I gotta get my life together. This is not doing anything for what I'm trying to do for my future. And then it's like, when you snap into that, you have to stay with that, and you have to, like, it's okay, like, to say, you know what, it was real, but this is not working for me, and these people aren't working for me. And whether that means you have to ride by yourself, or you have to find people that are more in tune with what you're trying to do. But you got to do something. You can't stay in this merry-go-round of, these temporary highs. That's basically what it is, because those activities that you're doing and things that aren't conducive to your future or helping you become more woke is not going to help you. It doesn't do anything for you. It's temporary. It's a temporary high. It's temporary fun. And you're still going to get back. You're still going to be in the same situation that you were in before. So it's just like learning that discipline for yourself to say, you know what? I'm not going to do these activities anymore. Or I'm going to focus more on me, because I'm trying to get somewhere in life, like I like those questions of, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years, because and sometimes people don't like those questions, but because it puts you on the spot. But that's good, because it's making you uncomfortable. Because if I'm on a date with someone or whatever, or just getting to know someone, and I ask them, what do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? And they're, like, getting uncomfortable about it, and they have nothing to say, that's an alarming red flag to me. Because like, you don't know exactly what's going to happen to you in 3 to 5 years, but you should have an idea. Like, you can't just tell me you're just floating through life for the next 3 to 5 years. Like, especially once you're 30 plus, like, we don't have that luxury. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have some type of goals for yourself. It's not about, like, okay, if a woman is asking you that, that means she's asking about kids and marriage. No, it's literally, what are you doing? What are you up to? Like, what do you do? If I run into you 3 years from now, what are you going to be doing? And that's not something that should be making you uncomfortable. That's a question that really, when somebody asks me that, like, I'm like, all right, this is what I'm going to be doing, and listing off of these things, because you should have goals for yourself. You should have dreams for yourself, and you should be excited about what's to come in 3 to 5 years. Not like, duh. Like, and I'm not saying that if you don't know, it's not horrible, but you should be thinking about it. Like, that should be your focus. And if it's not, you need to make some changes on what you're doing with your life, because that means that you're lost, and who wants to be a lost adult? Like, it's not, because time's not going to stand still for you. I rather have goals for myself in 3 years, and yeah, maybe all those goals don't come true, but at least some of them will. And at least I know, like, I was doing something. I wasn't just standing there wasting my time for 3 years, but it's like, again, it's woke. It's like waking up, like, wake up, and like, you got to wake up and be like, I can't be doing this for the rest of my life, or I can't be in this type of situation for the rest of my life. I don't care what obstacles I have to face. Like, I'm just going to at least try and get to a better place in my life and become something, not just go with the crowd. Because, once you tap into your spiritual self and your divine self, there is no going back, and sometimes it's tough, because it's like, the higher you raise yourself, the more secluded you have to be sometimes. And it is hard, because it's like, these people around you have social media and stuff, and it's like, dang, they look like they're really having fun, like, by just being asleep, basically, and just doing things that aren't really helpful to their future or to their spirit and their body. But the looks are deceiving, and those people are lost. And again, you don't want to be a lost adult, even if that means you have to separate from the crowd and do things that maybe everyone else isn't doing. If your goal is to become your higher self, and be emotionally balanced, mentally balanced, and become a man of value, then you will have to separate yourself. And I think that for men, that might not always be easy, because, they're always talking about, my bros or whatever, but like, are your bros good for you? Like, are they pushing you to start a business? Are they pushing you, like, are they giving you information about, like, financial information? And, like, if they see you doing something that's wrong, are they going to speak up and tell you, or are they just going to sit there and co-sign it? Because people who want the best for you, they're not always going to be a yes man. They're going to call you out on your stuff. Those are the type of men that you should have around you. And, not men who just want to see you drink and smoke all the time, and just basically stand in the same spot for 3 to 5 years, because they're doing the same thing. And again, there's something wrong with, I'm not saying that anybody who's drinking and smoking, that's something wrong. It's just, make sure you're doing things that are conducive to your future. That's all I'm saying. Like, make sure you're doing things that are going to help you get to where you need to be. Because as a woke woman, like, a woke man is definitely the goal, a man who can express themselves emotionally. Oh my gosh, come on, man. Like, I'm not saying you got to be a crybaby, but I'm just saying, like, if you can say, like, open your mouth, like, this is, like, the thing is, like, and it's not just me, like, don't think that I'm just the only person complaining. Like, I've talked to a lot of women who are in the same boat. It's like, you can't even, like, nowadays, and like I said, I know it's social media and other things that come into play, but, like, in my experience, like, I've met guys that, like, clearly you like me, you know what I'm saying? And we're not 21, 22, 24, 27, even that's frightening to say, but, like, you're in your 30s or you're close to it, and you don't know how to tell a woman, I like you. that's alarming. Like, what do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. And it's just like, emotionally, you're not even tapped in. You're not even able to say it or act on it, or, you know, like, there are men who are even older than me, and I'm 33, and there are men who are like 35 plus who, you know, they're not comfortable opening themselves emotionally and like tapping into that with a woman that they really like them. Like, I'm talking about, they really, really like this woman, might even be in love with them, but to like, they can't even say it. And yes, I'm aware that it's probably nerve-wracking, but either you say it or you don't. Like, it's not the end of the world if it's not reciprocated, and it's not the end of the world if you say it and, you know, it is reciprocated. Like, you just gotta go for it. You can't hold on to your emotions. It's not conducive to anyone. It's not gonna help you get to what you want anyway. You know, like, you're gonna potentially miss out on something that you really want. So why not just say it? And tap into your emotions. It's okay to feel. It's okay to feel something other than happy, you know, or not even that. Just like, it's okay to be in love. It's okay to be vulnerable, you know? And I feel like that's not enough, really. It's not a narrative that is pushed out enough within the community also. I think it's starting to, but growing up, definitely, I don't think that's something that's always being pushed into the Black male community, that it's okay to be vulnerable with your partner, and even with your friends, you know, like, you can tell them how you feel about them or whatever, you know, like, it's just, come on, it's just human nature, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do, not hold emotions in and think that someone's a mind reader, or, you know, having this idea that things go always on your time, because that's how you miss out on things too. Because a woman who knows herself and who's tapped into herself is not going to wait around for you to figure it out, in the sense of, like, there's patience and then there's just wasting your time, you know. And if someone's not willing to tap into themselves and, you know, take that journey to become the man that they're supposed to be, and wake up and be aware and be in tune with themselves, and not be tempted by outside influences, who takes care of themselves physically, mentally, spiritually, who is seeking the right woman, who is going to be intimate and create these intimate connections, who is focused, then, you know, you gotta align yourself with people that are on the same path. That's just the bottom line, whether man or woman. Like, you know, like, if you're gonna be with people, make sure they are aligned with what you're doing. That's all. And align with the inner god or goddess within you, because if you're putting in all that work to reach that point of yourself, then why risk losing it just for someone who doesn't want to tap in? You know, and it sometimes, and actually, that's what I'm going to do maybe not the next episode, but the one after that, about like letting go too, because that's originally what I was going to talk about. Because when you start to tap into the inner god or goddess within you, you are going to lose people, and you are going to lose connections that you don't really want to lose, because those people do mean something to you, or they, you know, they tapped into the emotional spirit within yourself without even probably knowing that they were. And you want to take them with you, but everybody can't go, especially if they don't want to. If somebody wants to stay asleep, then you have to let them do that, you know. But yeah, I definitely liked this idea of a woke man. And a woke man, it doesn't have to be like in a certain age too. Like, a woke man could be 20 or 21, you know. It's just about the man themselves and who they are, and what they choose, the path that they choose for themselves, and the way that they choose to carry themselves, and the people that they choose to be around, and, you know, the lifestyle that they want for themselves. Are they, you know, reading? Are they, you know, praying or meditating or taking care of themselves physically? What are the things that they talk about, again, like where do they see themselves in a few years? What goals do they have for themselves? How do they speak about other men, about women, just things like that. It's things to just pay attention to. And again, if you're trying to put yourself on a path of spirituality and becoming a better woman or a better man, then you need to make sure that the people around you are doing the same, or at least supporting that, and again, even if you meet someone who's not awake, maybe being around you and getting to know you can help them wake up too. But also, if they're not trying to wake up, then you can't, hold yourself back for them. They're going to have to either lose you and then maybe they'll tap in then, or, it is what it is. See you next lifetime. I don't know. You got to keep going. You got to keep going, and you have to keep working on you. And I want the guys to know, like, being a woke man, there's so many elements to it, but I don't know. It's like untouched. It's unmatched. I don't know. Like, a woke man is just one of the most attractive things ever, because it's just, what it is, like a man like that, a woke woman knows, or a spiritually like woman who's in tune with herself knows that a woke man, 9 times out of 10, because everybody makes mistakes, right? But a man who is woke, it's extremely attractive, because you can be safe with them, and like you can be unapologetically yourself with them, and they're not going to try to make you, let me not say that. You're, as a woman, a spiritual woman who's in tune with themselves and who's a woke woman, you 9 times out of 10, you are carrying yourself as a goddess, right? You're passionate, you're emotionally balanced, so you have no problem expressing your emotions. You have no problem acting on your emotions. You have no problem just being in the present and being yourself. And you're a powerful woman. You know what I mean? Whether you know it or not, you're a powerful woman when you're that type of woman. And you just have a natural aura to you. You have a natural glow to you, a natural light to you that is attractive, but it can be blinding too, if to the people who aren't ready for it. And if a man who is not awoke comes across a woman like that and they're not ready to tap in, the intensity of that woman could potentially, I don't want to say harm the man, but the intensity of the woman will either attract them to make them want to open up and be on that same level, or it's going to make them run away because they're not ready to tap into themselves that way. Because 9 times out of 10, a woman like that is going to make you realize things about yourself that you've been running from, or basically like ignoring, and things that you need to work on. And again, like I said, like going on your spiritual journey, it's not all running through the bushes and just like la 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 la. Like you're gonna hit things where you have to work on childhood traumas or like shadow work, and it gets lonely and it's painful and it's tiring and it's exhausting and it's mentally draining, and it's just like sometimes you're just like, all right, maybe I don't want to do this anymore, but you already so far that you don't have the universe. God doesn't give you a choice to go back. You once you start, you can't go backward. And if you're not that, which builds character and makes you a strong person. And there's nothing like a strong woman, especially a woman who's mentally strong and emotionally strong, and nothing can hold you back. A man who is not woke and who's not tapped into himself, that is something that will more than likely scare him, or whatever you want to call it, scare him or make him shy away or whatever, like they're not ready or they're not familiar with that. And instead of like, they have a choice to either explore that and become that type of man for themselves, or they can run from it, so man, I think I kind of lost my train of thought, but my point was like, yeah, a woke man is definitely an attractive man to a woke woman, or a woman who's just beginning her journey and, can recognize a man who is woke that can guide her too. I hope this was insightful in some type of way. I'm going to try to do an interview next week with someone who I think can definitely add some insight to this as a man who's woke. Definitely I encourage you guys to tap into your divine masculine. It's an attractive thing, it's a divine masculine man, a man who knows who they are, and it's more than just that. It's a man who is emotionally balanced. A man who is emotionally balanced is a powerful man, and a powerful man is an attractive man. An attractive man is what a woman wants, especially a woman who's in tune with herself and who's awake and who's getting it done, and who's a goddess, who's tapped into their inner goddess. There's nothing like a man who's aware of the God within him and who acts on it too. I hope this was helpful. And I hope that, like this thing says, divine feminine, if you found him, value him and he will value you too. I definitely encourage that, to value that divine masculine man, and vice versa, and value each other and keep uplifting each other. But that's not even something that has to be told, because those people like that are already doing that work. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I hope that you guys enjoyed what I had to say, and I will post these quotes and the book on Instagram, and I'm gonna definitely try to get that interview for next week, because I feel like he can have some pretty insightful things about this too, because we have conversations about it. I talked to him about random stuff. I hope you guys have a great week, and thank you for listening to Black Hippie Lounge. This is your host, Chanel, and like always, meditate, manifest, invest in you, and have a good day.